So my name is Carlos Walker, and this is Black. This is Art and Hustle. Black Books Matter, and today I'm with Mr. Elijah Lewis. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, Carlos. Thanks for having me on, and everything is good on my end. How about you?
Man, perfect, perfect. So before we start, if you will, share a little bit about who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Elijah Lewis. I am from Baltimore, Maryland. I am the author of the book "Your Jewels Are in Your Journey: Life Lessons Leads to Your Optimal Self." I'm also a appreciated motivational speaker as well, and also what I do in the daytime is my daytime job. I'm also an engineer with NAVC, which is the Navy in Indian Head, Maryland. So that's a little bit about me and what I do.
All right, so we're gonna get to the business of why we are here. Your book. You being an author, one, congratulations.
Thank
Uh,
you.
to me, it is important, especially for Black History Month, to share Black books. But my reason is because back in the day, they said if you want to hide something from a Black man, put it in a book.
Absolutely.
And today, thank God for us being able to move forward in a system that did not care about us. Our ancestors couldn't read nor write in this language. However, today there are more readers, writers in the Black community that has ever been. So what I love to do is highlight Black authors, and that is the reason why I like to say God blessed me with this opportunity to do this. So, if you will, share a little bit about your book and the reason why you even decided to create or pen the artistic ability that you have.
Okay. Well, the reason why I wrote the book is I wanted to give readers a sense of inspiration that no matter where they are on their journey, because that's what we're all on, that it's not how they start, it's how they finish. What really motivated me to write the book was I talk about a lot of experiences on my journey that made me feel as though I were lost or had a sense of hopelessness. Whether it was my struggles in high school, I even talk about some of the struggles that I went through as part of the religious group that I was a part of that unfortunately turned out to be a cult, sadly. But I want to tell people that it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and that you can overcome the challenges in your life. And that while we're on our journey, we're going to learn three things: that life lessons are jewels, the people that we come in contact with on this journey to help us be our better selves are jewels, and really most importantly, just telling the reader that he or she him or herself is a jewel, because I tell people if you don't know who you are, it's hard to know where you're going. So with that perspective, I just wanted to give people that inspiration that no matter whatever obstacles that you go through in life, because as we like to say, life be life, and so life will bring you obstacles, unfortunately, but you can overcome those challenges to be your optimal self and ultimately get to the destination, which is to be your optimal self.
All right. Is there I guess a specific chapter or part in the book that you are really, really that's your favorite?
Okay. I think, well, I think I would say there's two. Obviously, the last one, which is the greatest jewel. In fact, let me make sure I get it right. I'm going to make sure I read it right out of the book, actually. So, bear with me 1 second. Yeah. Yeah. Chapter 10, especially, is the greatest jewel of all is that you're a jewel. Sorry, make sure I get it correct. And that's really important to me because, like I said, because when you go through your journey, ultimately you want to know that there's potential and there's a purpose inside of you and that you're here for a reason. And a lot of times, I tell people we start out in life with these expectations and these dreams and desires. And then sometimes you have those trials and tribulations come, and we sometimes forget who we are as a person and what we're meant to be here while we're on this earth. So really that particular jewel is really important because I want to give people the information to know that, as much as we talk about life lessons being jewels and other people being jewels, you have to know that you yourself are a jewel. And once you know that, I tell people the rest of the jewels fall right into place. And The other the other chapter in my book that's really a favorite of mine is chapter 5, which is "Don't let others put you in a box." And I say that because, as I as I told earlier, in that particular chapter, I do talk about my experience, unfortunately, in a cult. And this is nothing against anybody who is a Hebrew Israelite. I have nothing against them. That's not why I'm here to bash them. This is just a particular group that I was a part of, unfortunately. And for people who have fallen victim to being in a cult, you know that it is very a rigid structure. There are certain things you cannot do, you can't partake in, and it's really controlling on your life. And once I thank my father really for getting me out of there because my parents and I we all went in there together when I was 6, and by the time I left, I didn't understand it then because I think I was just trying to catch up, with school and with life, but really writing that chapter especially was very therapeutic for me because it allowed me to understand what I went through. And I think a lot of times the beauty about writing is when you go through those painful experiences, it allows you to reconnect, but also understand what you went through. Because a lot of times we try to push that trauma away, like that doesn't affect me. But I thought about this today. It's like the old saying, wherever you go, there you are, So it's like you have to sometimes deal with your past to get a better understanding of your present and your future. So really that chapter particularly is really special to me because I don't want anybody to ever go through that type of experience. And just to tell people that, whatever it is, whether it's the religion that you're in or, the family that you grew up in, the culture that you grew up in, you have certain hopes and desires that you want to do with your life, and it is your life. So, with that being said, of course, there's nothing wrong with getting people's opinions or advice, but at the end of the day, you have to make your own decisions. Like the Bible, I think says, you got to make your own call in election sure. So, we all have free will, we all have decisions, and we need to make the most of it. But don't let other people try to hinder you from your potential, and I think that's what's really important to me in that chapter, especially because that was a very difficult experience for me that I'm thankful that I've overcome. But it's the inspiration that really wants me to see people live the life that they were meant to live.
So there's two things that I actually want to, I guess you could say, build upon. Number one being your last chapter, which is number 10. Um, we are jewels. I pay
Yes.
attention to nature. Diamonds are built out of pressure. A
Mm,
piece of coal that is pressurized by life or by the environment, and what happens, it comes out as one of the most beautiful jewels that we have ever seen. Diamonds. Um, I don't know. Are you familiar how pearls are created?
unfortunately, I'm not.
Okay, so a piece of dirt or sand goes into a clam's mouth, and while it's inside the clam, it's irritating the clam, and what the clam is start doing is salivating or spitting basically over top of the sand to ease the pain.
Mm,
And what happens is the thing that we see when somebody finally discovers it is nothing but a bunch of spit over a piece of sand, but it's one of the most beautiful things to our eye, and it's priceless. So what happens is,
mm,
even with us, I'm gonna use the last scenario that you actually used, which was about you being in the cult or in the religious sect. I put it that way. That also was part of you becoming who you are. And what happened, had you not went through that situation, you wouldn't have a chapter which is very dear to you to even talk about. You wouldn't have, or you wouldn't even become you, because to be honest, this is part of the molding of you. I guarantee you, if you go back and you look at that situation, you'll even be thankful of the situation because it gave you a foundation. It may not be,
absolutely.
you may not like some of the things or whatever it may have transpired, but you can look back and say, you know what? God used that to build me.
Absolutely. Yes.
And that is the beautiful part about the journey in itself. Everything is building you to make you be the best version of you. That's what your whole book is about. You learning to be the best version of you. And that's what we learn throughout this journey. Life is going, I don't like the term life be life, because if you actually think about it, life's supposed to life. I
Mm,
don't become the best version of me if I don't get fire put on me to burn some of the things that need to be out of me or to bring the best out of me.
absolutely.
So for me, I'm always grateful for every part of my journey because that is what made you see the jewel that you're looking at today. And
Absolutely.
the same thing for you. You wouldn't have the book of the trials and tribulations hadn't have transpired because you wouldn't be able to give that information to somebody and say, guess what? Your journey is worth it. You're a jewel. But
Yes.
it's the
Absolutely.
pressures of life that's gonna make you into the jewel that you're called to be. So
Absolutely.
before
Yes.
we go, I do want you I want to ask you to give me a word of wisdom for someone who is maybe lost in their journey. They could be young, old, not knowing what life is going to bring them or not knowing how to take the things that they have been through. Give me a word of wisdom for them.
I would say, for a person, first of all, I would say I know what it's like to be in their shoes. Like I said, I knew it was like to be lost on my journey. But I think the most important thing is one, you need to remind yourself that, okay, I am still here. I still have time to make the changes that I want to make. First and foremost, think about what goals and aspirations that you have and think about where you are now. And then think about, okay, what do I need to do better? Because, like people like to the first saying that you should do is when you have a problem is admit you have one in the first place. So if you are in a bad situation, okay, think about it. What things do I need to do to get myself out of the situation? To make changes in my life. And I mentioned that because I watched a video on YouTube that was very powerful, and it kind of inspired me because I recently did a seminar on what was a webinar. It was called "What Do We Do with the Life That We're Born Into?" And one of the videos that inspired me was a video on YouTube. I think it's called something like "Choose Your Life" or something like that by Ron Wills. He's an author in the DMV area, and he just said everything that we do comes down to a choice. So he said, once you make that choice, I'm paraphrasing, but pretty much everything will fall into place after that. So yeah, if you're in a situation where you're, lost or maybe not sure where to turn to moving forward, definitely think about how do you want to get out of that situation. And more importantly, I talk about this in my book, I always say have a great role model, someone who can give you the wisdom and the guidance in your life that can help you make that change. Of course, like I said earlier, it is still your life, but sometimes having that role model in your corner is very important because, like for me, I talk about it in my book. I talk about my role model was my dad. He really, really gave me the love but also the discipline to really get my life back on track. And I'm thankful because he's a big part of the man I am today. Of course, I'm not going to give any slight to my mother either. My mother did her part as well. But I will say, having a parent or a coach or a teacher, my dad always says this. A lot of our brothers, especially, unfortunately love to say the term that I never had a father, but he always instilled in me that you really can't use that as an excuse because the Most High will put somebody, especially if you're a boy, will put some man in your life that can give you guidance. It may not be your father, maybe it's your grandfather, it could be your uncle, it could be your coach, whoever it is, that role model can be very important in getting you the changes you need to make. And I would say the last thing is that always remember that, like I said earlier, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. You're going to go through obstacles in life, but these obstacles, when you overcome them, are going to make you better. It's like they were saying, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And I like what you said, Carlos, about diamonds making pressure, because I talked about it in the last chapter. I always think about, and I put this in the book. There was a joke that Chris Rock said in his stand-ups a couple of years ago. He said, pressure makes diamonds. not hugs. He said try to hug a piece of coal. He said you get a dirty shirt. So the point is, hugs are nice,
They
but
beautiful.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, everyone loves a good hug. We all love to feel warmth and embrace, and that's who we are. But there are moments where you
You need
know
that tough love.
you need that tough love. Like for example, I think that's why it's important. I talk about this in my book too. Having that two-parent household. Because especially for me, looking growing up, it's like most people would probably say that, the mom is more the nurturer and the dad is more the disciplinarian. So, for me, my dad, definitely could give me the love that I needed, but he knew when to be tough with me at the same time. And without that toughness, I don't think I am where I am. I don't think I am where I am today.
You need
So
the yin and yang.
there you go. It's all about balance, or a lot of people like to say from ancient Kemet, it's all about ma'at, which is a part of balance. So, definitely those are my things. Find a good role model. Think about how you want to change, your life for the better. And the final thing is, once you make those plans, do those plans. Like Nike says, just do it. So if there's something that you want to do in life that want to accomplish, or you're not, where you think you need to be, you know, maybe write it down, plan it out, maybe get some people who can help you, and then make it happen, and then most importantly, believe that it can happen too, because like the Bible says, faith without works is dead. So I tell people, in my webinar that I just did on Friday, we talked about every day is an opportunity to do better. So it's really down to two things. It's your mindset and your actions. And once you put those two together, the possibilities are endless.
Self-development. Want to just give you a guy that I normally always listen to, Jim Rohn. I don't know if
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but
I have,
phenomenal
yes.
guy. Look, when I tell you, but look, I took him as one of my mentors when I started listening to him, because self-development is one of the major keys to life.
Mm,
You have the ability. If you want to be a millionaire, first you got to be able to think it.
yes.
Thinking is everything. Number one, that's the Bible says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." You're
Yes.
already that, but it says thinketh. So anything with a th means it's continuing. So I can't just think it one time and let it die. I have to
Absolutely.
always think on whatever this thought is that I see or say that I want to be, and then I become it. But
Hmm.
um, back to your what you said, man. Look, you are what you are when you believe that you are.
There you go.
So I want to thank you, and then I do want you to do this shout out every place that your book is at, so people can purchase your book, because that's the reason why we're doing this. Look, I need you to go buy this man's book. Hold it up one more time. I need y'all to go purchase his book. Hey,
Yeah.
your jewels. Say it again. Your jewels and in your journey. Your jewels are
Your
in your
jewels are
journey.
in your journey.
Yeah, look, go purchase this book. I need y'all to go do that and tell them where they can purchase it, and shout out your Instagram handles or any handles that you got.
Yes. So, yeah, again, if you would like to purchase a copy of Your Jewels in Your Journey, you can go to my website, which is www.elijahlewis.org. You can order your copy. I will sign it for you. It'll be in the mail for you. And definitely, read these jewels and see where they take you. And you can also follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Melanin, Melanin, King, King, Eli, Eli. That's my Instagram. And also, if you're on LinkedIn, you can connect with me at Elijah Lewis. And finally, if you're on Facebook, you can also follow us on our business page, which is the title of my book, Your Jewels Are in Your Journey.
And remember, your jewels are in your journey. My name is Carlos Walker. This is Art and Hustle, Black Books Matter Season 2. And this is Mr. Elijah Lewis. Blessings. Love
Yep,
y'all.
same to you, Carlos. Just thank you again for what you're doing and giving us this platform. So, just keep up the great work that you're doing. And it definitely means a lot from one author to another. And I want to thank you, because when I talk about people being on my journey, just thank you for being a part of the journey, because I never forget me and my publisher, we met you I think about maybe in late 2023 down in DC. And then that connection, you led me to Bookland by Dr. Chi Chi, and the rest they say is history. So, I say in my book, it's not always what you know, it's who you know. And when you make those connections, they can be very powerful. And this brother right here is a perfect example. Hearing his story and what he's overcome, and everything in his life. So it just truly is a blessing to be on the platform. And just from one author to another, brother, I wish you nothing but love, many blessings, and a lot of peace. Just and thank you for being a jewel in my journey, especially, brother. So thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you and love you, man. Love y'all too. Blessings.
Yep.